They inform, they impact, they influence, they entertain. They tell stories. We hear them without knowing much about who they are. They are the voices of purpose. Let's hear one of them.
कोरोना वायरस या कोविड-19 से आज पूरा देश लड़ रहा है, पर याद रहे हमें बीमारी से लड़ना है, बीमार से नहीं। उनसे भेदभाव ना करें, उनकी देखभाल करें और इस बीमारी से बचने के लिए जो हमारी ढाल है, जैसे हमारे डॉक्टर, स्वास्थ्य कर्मी, सफाई कर्मचारी, पुलिस आदि, उनका सम्मान करें, उन्हें पूरा सहयोग दें। इन योद्धाओं की करो देखभाल तो देश जीतेगा कोरोना से हर हाल। अधिक जानकारी के लिए स्टेट हेल्पलाइन नंबर 104 या सेंट्रल हेल्पलाइन नंबर 1075 पर संपर्क करें। भारत सरकार द्वारा जनहित में जारी।
I am just delighted to welcome my very dear friends and fellow voice actors, legends in their own right. Please welcome the voiceover maestros, Surjan, Singh, Pallavi, Bharti, and Jasleen, Bhalla. Welcome all to the Flame Purpose Summit 2021. And Pallavi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What a brilliant journey it has been for you. You started as a child artist. You've been a voice actor for over 3 decades now. You're still very young, but even then you've been a voice actor for 3 decades. And you have given the voice of so many ads, so many characters, and you've also been the voice of Doraemon. So Pallavi, tell me what's the purpose? What's that sense of purpose that gets you going for so many years now?
Subha, first of all, thank you so much for this opportunity, and thank you, Flame University, for having all of us here. And so coming back to your question, I started very young. I was only 2 when I started acting. So I
That's
did
amazing.
films and
You were only 2?
Yes, I was.
And were you speaking at the age of the 2 to be part of an acting career?
Yes. In fact, my first first acting project was an ad, and I still remember I had to say, "Mujhe bhook lagi hai, kuch khane ko do." You know, that was my line. So and then I started from there, and I did films and worked with some big names, and I obviously worked with Nasiruddin Shah, Shekhar Kapoor, Irfan Khan. So I've learned from the best. Then at 4, I got introduced to voice. So I got approved as drama voice, All India Radio. So as a child, I used to look at my seniors perform, and it was magical for me. I felt so fascinated. I was fascinated then. I'm fascinated now, and I think that is what is keeping me, continuing the profession. And I feel, Shubha, honestly, I feel we create magic. Ours is a faceless craft. So our faces are mostly hidden behind microphones and pop filters. बहुत कम ऐसी voices आती हैं like मैं समय हूँ या Big Boss चाहते हैं. So these voices come and then they say, अच्छा voice overs भी कुछ होता है, So I want my purpose. It keeps mutating, and I feel if your purpose is not mutating, then it's boring. So right now, my current purpose is to make people aware of my craft, to say ki this is also a profession, and to also tell my narrative, tell people that it's okay to fail. I've experienced that, and so I'm just trying to, connect with my TG and tell them my story. That's the purpose, and my driving force is that fascination. I'm still fascinated. I will forever be with this craft.
See, this craft is something where faces are not known, the voices are known. And to stay motivated, to give those voices, to be so alive with those voices, must have a sense of purpose. Surjan saying, you never thought you'd be a voiceover artist. You stumbled upon it, you wanted to be a civil servant, then you did your law, and then you found voiceover as your calling. How did this purpose come into your life?
I think you could call me Destiny's child of sorts. So, yes, I think it was a string of failures. That's how I'd like to put it. So I wanted to be something else, and I wanted to, as a normal middle-class household, you want to, try out law, then you want to be a civil servant, wanted to join the army, so stuff like that. But yeah, so I later on stumbled upon the voiceover thing, and I think this is one craft, and that happens with most of the craft, that we end up thinking, I like this particular thing, or I choose to do it. I think it's not that I chose to do it. The craft chose me, because
Oh, wonderful.
I tried, yeah, I tried many things. So I think it was the craft that
So
chose me.
did your failure give you purpose? That you tried so many things, did your failure, those
Oh
learnings
yes,
give you purpose?
oh yes, absolutely. Uh, it was those failures, and failures by the standards of the society, okay, but not in my own terms. I never saw them as failures. I
Wonderful.
was trying out something. It was a string of things that, I wanted to do this and I couldn't. All right, I couldn't do that. I could achieve that. I couldn't be successful, but then so that's about it. It's, people want to see you as, oh, he couldn't make it big there, he couldn't make it big there. We're still learning. I'm still learning at this craft, but this is something I'm really passionate about. So I am sort of, yeah, this is, you could call this as my purpose that way, because and maybe, there could be a few failures here as well. So again, so I'll be learning that process.
I'm sure, because the way you saw your failures were also stepping stones. Jasleen, how did it all begin for you? You were working, you were on a salary, and then suddenly you realized that you need to do something different. But you were at the back of your mind also conscious of losing that safety net. How did it all work out?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Subha. I have been a sports journalist and a producer. I worked in sports channels, and I love doing that part. I was really happy when I was involved. But there is this. I think I felt the happiest when I used to voice the in-house packages or the reports that I've written, or the shows that we would make. And for some reason, something did not feel home. I tried, like, whether it's live broadcast, whether it's making shows, whether it's reporting, whether it was anchoring. Um, Somehow I was really pulled to the audio part of it, the maximum. So so for me, I think I completed this circle um, when I really decided to sort of jump out of that safety raft and not keep my feet like in both the boats. In 2010, I started trying, the audio, trying my hand in the audio world. And then I think 4 years into it, I sort of completely left my safety net. And I think that is when I became better at what I did, because I could fully give myself to trying to learn the craft, trying to hone my skill. And I actually finally felt as if I reached home. And that's the feeling that just made me stick to this, and initially rough it out. But what a journey it's been. I just love every moment of it.
And the entire nation heard you during these difficult times, cautioning people about what they should do and what they should not do. Amitabh Bachchan replaced you, and then you replaced Amitabh Bachchan as well.
So only my voice replaced that idea. But it's a privilege, Shubho. It's still something that I find difficult to relate to, because more often than not, voiceover artists do not get public recognition. In terms of, our world knows us well, whether it's our clients, producers, studios, co-artists, we
That's a very
recognize our voices like in a
universe.
second.
It's a very, very small.
But it's such a small world, but usually we are faceless. So it was very unusual to get this kind of a recognition. It's very unusual to see how interested people are and how they are in awe of this profession and the kind of questions they have. So it's been my privilege.
Okay, Pallavi, A 30-year-old doing the voice of a 10-year-old through Doraemon, how do you do it? How do you live the character which you are not?
So
And
Shubho,
I've
actually,
seen, by the way, just to add a bit to that, for my audience, I have worked with Pallavi, and I have seen how she has mastered her craft. She can do 20 different genres of voiceovers, 20 different characters, 20 different age groups, all back to back.
like I said, Shubho, I've learned from the best, and I think Shubho, I do some 6 to 7 different characters in Doraemon, and I've also done Shin Chan. I've also done Surjan's done so many animation series. So basically, I strongly believe, Shubho, that we're all made up of these good, bad, choti badi stories. Okay, so we have all these stories within us, and so I think, and we in these stories we play different characters. I may be a vamp in one, maybe a preacher in one, a child. So when I am given something, say when I'm doing an audible or a drama, out and out drama, I basically look for the emotion from within. I search for the emotion, I apply it to the script. And honestly, when I do that, something magical happens. I don't know how it happens, but it's just magical. So
Is that your
it
purpose
completely
driving?
automatically changes.
Is that also your purpose driving you to create that magic?
Yes, I think so, and I feel that it's a beautiful craft. I'm in love, Shubho. I'm not here just for the money part of it. Money is good. And, I'm also not exaggerating. My mom thinks I'm broken because they say I'm a fairly decent actor. And almost every second or the third week, I get a call asking to feature in a web series or a TV show. And I don't know why I keep turning them down. I just want to stick to voiceovers. I want to only do voice. It gives me immense happiness. It's my passion. I'm mad for voicing. And I think I just want to tell people my purpose behind my craft. It's directly, basically, it's linked with my vocation. It's just to tell people to do what you love, and you will just automatically succeed. And I think it's okay to also fail. This whole idea of success and failure, this is slightly overrated. If you fail, I want to tell people, if you fail, you'll have better stories to tell. you know
The
like
industry
I've
wouldn't have
experienced it.
the industry wouldn't have got a voiceover artist like Surjan Singh if he had become a civil servant. He would have been a bureaucrat in some
Absolutely.
office. We wouldn't have got his voice in so many ads.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Jasleen and Surjan, as actors, as voice actors, you live many lives. You switch from one zone to the other, one voice to the other, one character to the other. Sometimes you're playing the father or the mother, then you're playing a young lad of 18. How do you live so many lives? I mean, what is driving you to live so many lives, and more importantly, making them real, making them believable?
I'll let Justine take that.
So, Shubho, it's so interesting that when you step into a studio, usually, more often than not, you really don't know what are you going in for. You get a script in your hand. There's a copywriter over there. There's a producer over there, and they have written something. They've written a story. The characters do not exist. Neither neither will the faces be there to give expressions, and there's a thought in someone's head, that they've sort of jotted down that entire idea, and you have to convincingly give birth to that character, which will never be seen, it'll only be heard. And the fascination to be able to do that, to tap into someone else's mind, and sort of mingle it with your own personal experience and give birth to this new voice or something of that sort. I think that is a beautiful process. And I think that for me becomes like, also a driving force, because every time you feel like, okay, give me something new, like you push your own boundaries, and that becomes like, it's kind of a high. You want to experiment more, you want to do such different roles, and you're just at it then.
Okay, how does it
Yeah.
work for you, Surjan?
Yeah. Okay. Might sound a little cheeky, but it's like an artistic voyeurism. All right. So, so you have something called a perceptual positions. Okay. So perceptual positions are when you play a character from your perspective, then you play another character from the other person's perspective, and then you play a character from a neutral perspective. I think I remember, if I remember correctly, at some point of time I was having this discussion with you, that when I personally, I mean, this is my modus operandi, that when I get a script, I just don't look at my character. I look at it as if there is a man and there is a woman's character and there's a kid's character. In my mind, I play all those characters. Okay. Sorry, Jasleen, and sorry, Pallavi. I play the woman's character also in my mind. I play the
Oh,
kid's character also in my mind.
so
And
you
I'm
create a
playing it.
situation. Do you create a situation
Yes,
around you?
I create a situation. I create a situation to the extent I create their dress. I
Oh,
create, yes,
Wow.
I create, I go into the art direction. Where are they standing? What is the chair where they're sitting? Okay,
Acha.
okay. Yes, it's funny. Okay, I'm revealing that today, right? But
But it's like
yeah,
amazing. It's amazing. We've never spoken
yeah,
about this before.
yeah. I didn't, but this is what my method is. So what happens is, there are occasions, when I know that there is a director and he's saying he wants the other person say, I want you to deliver these dialogues in a certain manner. And I know in my mind, I know that no, this is not the character. This is
No,
not the
no, no,
graph
no,
of the
no. This
character.
is not.
Yeah. But I'm like quiet. I know, because that's the point. I mean, your character is not cannot be played in totality. So if somebody just gives you your lines and somebody just sends across the script and says, okay, this is the situation, that's your line. With me, that doesn't happen. I like to play it in totality. Okay.
well,
So
that's
that's
the
that's
that's the that's the passion that you have for the craft, that you go to that level of detailing where you are looking at what they wear, creating situations like you
Mm.
would in real life. This is your passion for the craft. This is the
yeah.
purpose that you have.
And
Which,
and
yes, please.
and not just apart from the, see, there is a linear approach. You get the script, and okay, these are 2-3 dimensions. Okay, so once you've logged all the dimensions, these are the 3 ways to approach a certain script. Then after it's done, so I need a little mind space of my own, and a mind palace of my own, as you had in Sherlock. A mind palace, he goes into a mind palace. I want to explore the fourth aspect of it. Okay, we've already explored 3 ways to do it. There must be a fourth way to do it. And there could be a fifth way to do it, which
Oh my
maybe
God.
nobody in the room had thought about it.
Thought
So
about, yeah.
unless I'm exhausted with the options, and I'm running out of time.
Yeah,
So
time.
No wonder, Surjan, you
He'll
have
always
Arun.
wait for his recording.
Yeah, absolutely. So Arun Ravi tells me that, Surjan, first of all, I'm a big fan of your voice. I have learned a lot listening to your voiceovers. Sir, my question is, how should a beginner voice artist approach any voiceover? If time permits, can you give us a demo? Why time permits? Let's do a demo right now. Let's play something that the world would like to listen. By the way, for the information of our audience, I kind of learned my craft from the 3 maestros that you are listening to right now. And because I thought that this would be such an engaging conversation, because my sense of purpose in the voiceover world, in the voiceover industry, came from what they taught me. So here's a quick demo on our craft.
Good evening. This is Pallavi Bharti. Dear Vistara customer, This is an important call from Vistara regarding your upcoming flight.
Unchanging and unflawed. Here's an unheard story of a metal that forever lasts. Platinum. इसीलिए एक बड़ा सा थैंक यू आपके हर इतने से के लिए. डोनेट करते जा, बढ़ते जा.
पहचाना मुझे? मैं इमली. अरे वही जिसे देखते लोग पूछते गुड न्यूज है क्या? सर्दियों में ना इनके चेहरे पर क्रैक्स पड़ जाते हैं, जिससे ये भी थोड़े क्रैक.
अगर मैंने डोरा केक्स खा भी लिए तो कौन सी बड़ी बात हो गई डोरेमोन?
Saturday evenings at 5:30 only on TLC.
प्लेलिस्ट चला, Spotify सुनते जा. Let's move ahead with Select City Walk.
Hi, this is Surjan Singh. We began with a simple goal to heal.
बेटा अनिल, वो मेरे नकली दांतों का सेट वहाँ ग्लास में पड़ा है, जरा साफ कर दे.
ताऊजी, मैं?
अरे उठा, काट थोड़ी लेंगे.
One love is a four-letter word. The other love is just three. LUV. A life utility vehicle.
कच्चे गोश्त की बिरयानी, बोटी कबाब, पसंदा कबाब, पाया पत्थर का गोश्त.
Oh gosh!
आप इसे गाय को गोश्त बोले तो दाली में दिल निकाल को रख देगा सलीम.
उस साधना को खाए भी नहीं जा रहे, सिर्फ ये सोच कर कि ये बचेगा या नहीं. Shame on you.
Reward. The winner in you.
Hi, good evening. This is Jasleen Bhalla. कोरोना वायरस या कोविड-19 से आज पूरा देश लड़ रहा है, पर याद रहे हमें बीमारी से लड़ना है, बीमार से नहीं. If you snooze this alarm, you'll probably miss your morning college lecture. ओह जी, मुझे इंट्रोडक्शन की जरूरत तो नहीं है. सारी बिरादरी जो मुझे यानी मैच मेकर मासी जी को जानती है. Simply Nigella starts Monday 5th December 8 p.m. only on TLC. But match वाले दिन he becomes a ninja chef. He believes जैसे इनकी सब्जियां कट कटती हैं, वहाँ फील्ड पे रन्स की बारिश शुरू हो जाती है. 100 करोड़ का गोल्ड जीतने का मौका है. बस पेटीएम ऐप पे UPI से मनी ट्रांसफर करो और जीतो 100 करोड़ का गोल्ड. And the world will never be the same. Let's build tomorrow today. Cisco. Tomorrow starts here.
Hello, good evening. I am Subha Chatterjee.
The strength of brand loyalty is defined with how your products make people feel. Over the years, Havells has gained the stature.
বৃষ্টি ভেজা গোলাপ দেখেছেন কখনো? আমি দেখেছি। কিছু বছর আগেই মাথা ঢাকার জন্য একটা সিমেন্টের ব্যাগ দিতে গিয়েছিলাম। মন দিয়ে এলাম।
If you don't have an iPhone, you don't have the App Store. With over 300,000 apps that are this easy to find.
रोमन सैनिक जेरूसलम के दूसरे टेंपल को तबाह कर देते हैं. कई सदियों के बाद भी लोगों का मानना है कि खजाना अब भी वही है. Handsome monthly income as well as a bonus after the policy matures. Monthly income plan by Aditya Birla Sun Life Insurance.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's the craft. Well, it does seem easy to people, but believe you me, we as artists, we always feel that there's a longer journey that we always need to cover than it seems possible for us. Quick question to all of you. Why is it that this being one of the top 10 professions in the world, the most loved professions in the world, why are there only a handful of artists who are ruling this industry? I can count them on my fingers.
When you said the quick question, I think you mean a quick answer to that question. So I'm going to keep that very brief. It's because this happens with anything related to craft and such a trade. The same goes with music, same goes with painters, and same goes with because it's driven by the ability, the talent. So it is only always going to be a demand and supply kind of a thing. So we are a country of 1.35 billion people. Most of them can speak, but the required aptitude and the required talent to match the voice with what is the demand of the communication, that match is a long bridge to gap. I mean,
I think
it's
you're
that
building
gap.
purpose.
Sorry.
You're
Yeah.
building purpose, Surjan.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, see, because I had never seen these things in that context before you had mentioned this purpose summit. It's when
No,
you
I'm
came up
seeing
with this
the
word.
reason. So even I, as an artist, I've questioned this many times, and I think the reason why a person with a baritone voice, and there are many people who would have much better voices, better baritone perhaps, or better timbre or better texture, why they are not voiceover artists is also because that's not particularly their calling, or they have not built purpose around their voice. We have.
Absolutely.
Subha, I would, I mean, in a very brief way, I thought about this in a very brief manner. I would say that there's a huge lack of awareness this as a career. B, I would say there's a huge lack of training also. I mean, I don't think we have really good schools or teachers over here doing this actively, because the training purpose is pretty absent. I get asked that question a lot, by a lot of people.
आपने सीखा कहाँ से है?
आपने सीखा कहाँ से? And I don't think कि किसी के पास में ये जवाब होता है. And lastly, I think पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस से जो मैंने फील किया, एक दिन में तो nobody can become a good VO artist. You're not made in a day. It is a very long journey, and it requires a lot of interest and persistence. So no matter how amazing your voice is, you're not going to become a successful artist like overnight. It won't happen. It's pretty similar to how, an actor's life would be probably.
I think somebody very rightly said it takes 30 years of hard work to become an overnight success.
Oh yes.
Yes.
And my answer generally is, अगर कोई पूछता है कि आपने सीखा कहाँ से, तो मेरा answer generally होता है आपसे, because it's the we are भले we are the voice behind, we don't have a face, but there's a team, okay, you could call us a cog in a wheel, but we are because a lot of credit goes to the writers, our sound engineers, our production houses. There are so many people, and nobody talks about them. They are not heard, but the guy sound engineer, we come and we speak, but that guy is going to edit the whole thing, and it's going to make it warm, it's going to make it presentable. So we are a part of that bigger team. And we've learned from them, those little aspects that sound engineer must have told me at some point of time, sir, आप थोड़ा ऊंचा जा रहे हो, थोड़ा नीचे जा सकते हो. And subconsciously आपको नहीं पता वो कुछ सिखा गया आपको.
आपका टोन चेंज हो गया.
I agree.
Yeah, correct. So मुझे लगता है those guys are also our teachers in a way. They have taught us a lot.
I think, Surjan, it's also... Yeah, sorry, please go ahead.
No, fair enough. Yeah, I think I was done.
So I think it's also, I have experienced in my life as well, it is also how you romance the microphone. How you actually build a relationship with your microphone as well, your immediate environment as well. Because we sound very different when we speak in our normal lives. But once the microphone is there, once the script is there, once the environment is there, it just changes. It's just like the wrestler who is not wrestling all the time.
Changes, yeah.
It just changes. Somebody just said, not a question, but a comment from the audience. Flame University, thank you so much for this awesome session. This is so unique. You brought these maestros on a single platform, and I'm loving it. Surjan sir, Jasleen ma'am, big fan of yours. And Neeraj Gangal asks a question, do you need a rich baritone to be accepted as a voice artist? How open is the industry to voices of different timbres?
I think it is.
No, you're right. Yeah, I would like to hear from Pallavi.
No, I think this is a very wrong notion that's floating around that you have to have a certain kind of voice to become a voice actor. No, actually now I think it's become very real. The more real your art is, the more you'll connect with people. And I think this aping business should stop. You cannot be aping a Pallavi or a Jasleen
कि
or a Surjan.
मैं
You have to
अमिताभ
bring
बच्चन
something
की
new
वॉइस
to the
मुझे
table.
चाहिए, अमिताभ बच्चन की वॉइस मुझे
That
नहीं चाहिए.
yeah, people no, I have clients coming to me saying, हमें सुरजन सिंह जैसा वॉइस ओवर करके दीजिए मैम. मैं पल्लवी सुरजन सिंह का वॉइस ओवर कैसे करूंगी? I will bring something that I will. So you have to understand, and you have to bring something new to the table. Stop aping is my advice.
Build your own style,
And
make your
also,
own style.
yeah, you look within you, and you will find those expressions, and you will learn from your life around you. I think किसी एक को पकड़ के उसका style copy करना is getting थोड़ा सा boring and old.
Although there's a space for that. I mean, there are many mimicry artists who ape people, but that's a very different craft. There's a very different requirement for it. There are also
No,
mimicry
that's a very
artists.
specialized. That's a very specialized craft. They work
Yeah,
very hard on it.
It's not an easy.
Not at all.
Not at all easy. Not at all.
Okay. How did COVID change things for a voiceover artist? And how did you kind of build your own space within the limits which were set by this situation that came upon us?
Subha, I would. Sorry,
yeah.
Other than making you the voice of COVID, what else did it do?
Yeah, I mean, Subha, I wouldn't say it changed something for me in terms of my career, but it did change a huge, I mean, I would never have thought that, it would become this huge, people would react so much to it. And in this extremely gray cloud of COVID, which has been over our head, that I'll get such a bright silver lining, and on top of that, I think I would say this for many of us, that I'm so grateful that it did not affect our work as much, because a lot of us have these small home setups also.
Yes.
It allowed us to carry on with our work. It allowed us not to step out into the unsafe zones. So it allowed us safety. It allowed us work on a daily basis. Yes, work has suffered a little bit, but I wouldn't say compared to so many other professionals, I think I wouldn't consider myself like so badly hit by it. And the beauty of working remotely, like the way people, like in so many professions, and it's been for us also, the beauty of everybody coming together, the client, the agency, the studios, the artists, everybody coming together over video calls and actually, getting the work done and amazingly well.
Yeah, so I remember doing a medley with Surjan, and this is a voiceover. This was a voiceover which required a couple of voices. I was at 7,000 feet in the hills, and Surjan was in his studio, and we did it very seamlessly. I think this is what COVID has taught us: that geographies, locations, and all that we think were deterrents in our work are just redundant. You just have to imagine which space you want to own. That also brings me to another question which has come from our audience, which is, now that you have a voice, your voices are recognized, have you ever felt the need of putting a face to that voice?
Not me.
No, you're happy being faceless.
Yeah, I am. I'm pretty happy faceless because that's the way I started out. Why should it change? I started out doing this, and there's still so much to explore. So it's not important that because when I come, on the camera, what's going to change? That's an entirely different craft.
Yes.
I'll have to learn. Unlike Pallavi, or she's she's a film actress and she's a TV actress, and she knows the whole
She has
craft.
the best of both worlds. I envy.
Yeah, so I'll have to learn the whole thing from a new way.
Yeah, that's a different craft.
So,
Also, with the arrival of Spotify, with Amazon Audible, with original audio content, how is the landscape changing for voiceover artists in India?
Jasleen, do you want to take it? Or?
I mean, I mean, so much has changed. I mean, so many platforms, so many new platforms have come in. They sort of make this entire process even more like engaging and interesting. It gives you so many new roles to play, which we haven't done before. And also in a very interesting way, these platforms are used so much by youngsters. It also gives them sort of a pull towards this as a career. And apart from that, I feel like usually so suppose I do a book for Audible, I become like this personal voice in someone's headphones reading a story, right? And the whole book. It's a new dimension of connecting with a listener, which did not exist before. So I think it's very interesting.
Okay, and Pallavi and Surjan, you've done fantastic work in this area, audiobooks and original audio content. How has the experience been?
So there are two ways to look at it. In terms of the explosion of the market, no, it's not yet exploded. It's at a nascent stage. And I remember saying this in one of the conversations. I remember saying this in one of the platforms, saying that the audiobooks and these stories, it's like a race of 100 meters, okay? And we've not even gone on to the first meter, okay? We've not even covered the first meter of it, okay? One. So there's a long way, the 99 more meters to be covered.
Mm-hmm.
That's one bit of it. Two, one has to really take care that the kind of talent that is being used in storytelling. Storytelling is coming from a traditional background where people were reading books and people would create their own stories and their own dreams or their own way of looking at things. Here, there is a voice which is telling the story, but at the same time, we have to neutralize the content and not color the content. And how do you discolor that content so that it's easily palatable for the audience? And they don't, so that they can make their own judgments out of it. So if you use an inferior talent, I'm sorry to use the word inferior, somebody who's not really equipped to handle that story, if that kind of a talent takes up, we just might, end up the whole industry. That's one thing that I've felt when it comes to things like Audible and Storytel and such platform. And yes, of course, the great part is that here if we are working with an advertising industry agencies, you're given a script and we work on them. Here we are. We can create our own content. We can recite something and we can read our own stories. So that's very liberating. But I think future, we might have to see.
Wonderful. On that note, just two quick sentences on how youngsters can be inspired to be part of this profession.
Actually, I feel initially, this whole relationship between an actor and her audience was very, I would say, aspirational. Now it's become more on the grounds of relatability. So I think whatever you're doing, your content should be relevant. It should be relatable. So I think you have to just find that balance between the craft that you're in and the relatability factor of it. So the more closer you are to reality, the more it will sell, the more connect you'll reach. And you have to just keep learning from your experiences, your own experiences, I would say,
Okay.
and from around you.
Okay, Surjan, related to this, somebody asks me very quickly, how should a beginner VO artist approach this craft?
Okay. If I may take it beyond not just craft, also as a trade, for any skill or anything that you want to come get into, you need a formal education, be it your management or your engineering or your medicine, whatever. But unfortunately, we don't really have a very structured curriculum here. We're talking with a lot of people. We're trying to design certain things where we can do that. But it's very, very important to have a focused and a concerted effort into applying yourself, into learning, into reading, your breathing capabilities. So it's a altogether different art that you need to work over that craft for a long time. And it might sound very boring. It might look very boring initially. It may not be very interesting. It's because, I often say that the best thing is to speak in front of the mic is that the way you are speaking to me, the way we are talking, if you're able to speak the same way in front of the mic, you're home. You're home.
Wonderful. Jasleen, parting words from you, closing words from you.
I would say this is a beautiful profession. It's great fun. It requires hard work. It might seem that it does not require, but it does. But that hard work, I mean, you can have fun with it, enjoy, don't be too scared of the mic, try out. I mean, to any youngster, I would say record yourself over and over on phone, if not like a professional mic right now. You will come to know. Try and see, I mean, listen to people that you really admire, narrators, RJs, voiceover artists, actors, and compare and see whether your voice can actually sell a product. Can it convince somebody? Can it hold the audience? And experiment. You will come to know and have fun with it.
Wonderful. And on popular demand, Jasleen, and I'm getting this almost every single minute. Corona ka caller tune suna dijiye.
Yeah, Subha, this has become like, this is now my background score actually. Now it's like Ralvi self poems now. So yeah, okay. I can attempt the current, IVR. नमस्कार. नया साल अपने साथ आशा की नई किरण लेकर आया है वैक्सीनेशंस के रूप में. अपनी बारी आने पर वैक्सीनेशन जरूर लें और भारतीय वैक्सीन पर भरोसा रखें. अफवाहों पर ना जाएं. और याद रखें, वैक्सीनेशन के बाद भी आपको सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग मेंटेन करना है, मास्क जरूर पहनना है और हाथ अच्छी तरह धोने हैं. सजग रहें, सुरक्षित रहें. नमस्कार.
Yay.
On that wonderful note, thank you, Jasleen. Thank you, Surjan. Thank you, Pallavi, for being part of the
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
Purpose Summit, and you gave so much of purpose. Thank you for being such wonderful co-artists. Thank you for being such contributors to the craft and to the industry. And thank you for being with me in this session.